This is today's reading of the Vermilion Valley Vineyard devotional book, Walking with Jesus.
Hello there. My scripture is about the upper room betrayal that Jesus unveils before the event happens. It is found in Matthew 26 verses 21 to 25, Mark 14 verses 18 to 21, Luke 22 verses 21 to 23. But I will read John's account of this event as it is found in John 13 verses 21 to 27. Here it is. After he had said this, Jesus was troubled in spirit and testified, "Very truly I tell you, one of you is going to betray me." His disciples stared at one another, at a loss to know which of them he meant. One of them, the disciple whom Jesus loved, was reclining next to him. Simon Peter motioned to this disciple and said, "Ask him which one he means." Leaning back against Jesus, he asked him, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus answered, "It is the one to whom I will give this piece of bread when I have dipped it in the dish." Then, dipping the piece of bread, he gave it to Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. As soon as Judas took the bread, Satan entered into him. If all the books that have written on this event were stacked up one on top of another, I'm sure it would be one of the tallest skyscrapers in the world. So, there is no lack of ideas or concepts concerning this scripture. The event portrayed in this story does not stand alone. We believe that Judas, as well as every individual of Adam's race, had the propensity of betraying Christ. We don't know how long he thought of that. We don't know when he started thinking about the betrayal of Christ. We believe that he was committed to some principles of financial gain. For in the story that is referred to in the previous chapter, a woman comes and anoints the feet of Jesus, and Jesus specifically says is for his burial, and Judas complains that this perfume could have been sold and the money given to the poor. John 12 verse 6 informs us he did not say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. As keeper of the money bag, he used to help himself to what was put into it. Personal gain ranked pretty high on his priority list, which more than likely played into the outcome of any decision-making process. Decision-making is complex, and some do it better than others. The processes are varied of time and perspectives, based on the impact of the projected outcome. But for all decision-making, there comes a time that the decision has been made. In this story, it is interesting that the scripture says, Judas took the bread, which was dipped, was meant to declare, the man who would betray Christ. The next words we read are horrible, and they are, Satan entered into Judas. Up to that point, the decision was not yet made, the clay was still soft, all options are possible. Judas has come to the fork in the road, and no longer could it be something looming on the horizon. One path or the other, he chooses which path he is committed to. The outcome of that decision is looming on the horizon, but it will soon to be a reality. This is the tipping point of no return. In Jesus handing him the bread, it seems as if Judas felt that the decision had to be made, and he yields himself to his dark demise and betrays Christ, for what is seen as a purchase of a slave. I have learned in my life there are many decisions that cannot be made in the middle of a storm. We should make a lot of life's decisions before we are confronted with a tirade of emotion that only fogs the process of clear thinking. May you be blessed to see the value of being guided by a few basic principles. Principles that allow us to make multiple decisions based on a clear, defined paradigm. May those paradigms be based on two simple teachings: loving God with all of your heart, mind, body, and soul, and loving your neighbors as yourselves.